So, the short answer as to why XDefiant got the plug pulled on them is that Ubisoft is doing terribly financially, and they've been laying off people and shutting down projects. Not because XDefiant failed to be a quote-unquote COD killer. Let me explain. So, as you probably already know from clicking on this video, XDefiant is in the process of being shut down. It's not accepting new players, it's been taken off the Ubisoft store. You can still play, but only if you already had it downloaded. Also, real quick, I don't like this clickbait COD killer title thing or whatever you want to call it. You can't just dethrone COD, no matter how good the game is. That's like saying Dunkin' Donuts is the Starbucks killer. The only thing that can kill COD is COD, regardless of how good or bad you thought XDefiant was. XDefiant was just a cheaper alternative. Anyway, in this video I'm going to give a brief, pseudo-history of the game, if you want to call it that, and also give my opinion on what I thought the game did really well and what I thought it didn't do so well. Now, what happened? Since 2024, Ubisoft has been going through a series of major flops. Because of this, it's very likely Ubisoft went into self-preservation mode and started to cut things off to save money. While I don't think XDefiant was a top game that was doing absolutely amazing in Season 2, I don't think it was doing terribly either. However, that being said, the game was certainly starting to die at this point during Season 2 because the executive producer of XDefiant had to make a tweet to dispel the rumors that it was dying. But me personally, I was still experiencing fast queue times and the game still had a good amount of content coming in. However, as we know, only 2 months later, the game's shutdown was announced. Did Mark lie about the game dying, or was he caught off guard? I don't know. Now, on our end, we don't actually have access to the exact player count statistics, at least on the PC side of things, because XDefiant is not on the Steam launcher. But from reports earlier on in the game's life cycle, it was doing extremely well in the beginning and then started to slow down in momentum a bit. There are some player count websites, but they claim to have estimates, not the true player count. Also, Xbox has a game ranking system for the most played game, but we don't know the actual player counts unless the devs reveal it. XDefiant, towards the end of its life cycle, was not high up there at all. Also, even though it was doing okay-ish on Twitch in terms of views, it was mainly because people were AFK watching to get Twitch drops. Now, because I'm a PC player, what annoys me a bit is that for some reason, XDefiant never had a Steam release. Now, granted, a PC game does not have to be on Steam to be successful, take Fortnite for instance, but my question is, why are other Ubisoft games on Steam? Like Rainbow Six Siege, but not XDefiant. XDefiant would have probably performed rather well on Steam. There are decent free FPS games on Steam, but there really isn't an actual good free Call of Duty alternative. Back when XDefiant was still popular, I tried to get a friend of mine to download the game, but he refused because it wasn't on Steam, and I can't blame him for not wanting to download the somewhat shitty Ubisoft launcher. Anyways, I thought it was weird to make XDefiant a Ubisoft launcher exclusive when other games don't do this, but I digress. Hyperscape, for example, was a Ubisoft exclusive launcher game, and that game died super quick, so oh well. Now I'm gonna go into what XDefiant did really well and what it should have improved on. One of the things that XDefiant did really well was the gunplay and movement. Its gunplay and sniping was borderline on par with Call of Duty's gunplay, and it felt like a polished first-person shooter game. When this game was in beta testing, the reboot of Modern Warfare 2 was the current COD at the time, and the movement in that game was nerfed significantly compared to Modern Warfare 2019. However, XDefiant movement was the complete opposite. The base movement speed was faster, you could B-hop, you could make mid-air turns, and the sliding was super responsive. The COD players who preferred faster movement were eating that shit up. Some to the point where it was affecting their aim because they would rather do insane, pointless movement for a social media clip than hit their shots. I think if XDefiant was ready to launch before Modern Warfare 3 came out, I think it would have had a better life cycle because the next COD game immediately brought back less restrictive movement and sliding, and the only thing XDefiant had over COD at this point was that it was free. And also the fact that there was no skill-based matchmaking. Because there was no skill-based matchmaking, XDefiant's lobbies felt a little bit more organic. If for some reason you felt people were too sweaty in one lobby, you could just leave and re-queue without being forced to play with a certain skill level the next match. Now let's get into the cons. XDefiant didn't really have a clear, unique concept. It was a hodgepodge of random things, it had no real personality or identity, It basically was Call of Duty with hero shooter abilities, and the factions in the game were like random dead Ubisoft IPs. The game originally was supposed to have Tom Clancy in the title, similar to like Tom Clancy's The Division or Rainbow Six Siege, but it had nothing to do with Tom Clancy, and fans complained and it luckily did not end up being a thing. The game had your run-of-the-mill Call of Duty modes, but for some reason it took them literally forever to add a bomb defusal mode. For some Call of Duty players, the bomb defusal mode is like their main mode. XDefiant also had no death proximity chat, so you can't hear the reactions of people you kill, which is part of what makes Call of Duty so fun. There also was some pretty bad netcode issues in the beginning, and I'm not sure if it was ever fully fixed. I do know it got better over time, but I have no idea. Also, other shooter games like the Finals, for example, have a clear identity that makes them stand out. There is no other FPS game that is like the Finals, and I think that's why it stayed afloat so long. If you're going to make a game that is an alternative of something, it needs to do something better or different than its competitor. For example, Valorant versus CSGO, Marvel Rivals versus Overwatch, Delta Force versus Battlefield. Valorant is CSGO with crazy abilities. Marvel Rivals just does Overwatch like completely better. And Battlefield 2042 was having issues and Delta Force was able to appeal to that fan base. XDefiant tried to do this with Call of Duty, but it was only successful in the short term. XDefiant needed to be more than just a hero shooter. It probably would have benefited from having like different types of game modes that aren't in Call of Duty. XDefiant technically did, but I don't think they were good enough. So if you still have the game installed, we have until June 3rd, 2025 to play the game, but I imagine the queue times are freaking abysmal at this point. But honestly, I hope someone makes something similar to like Titanfall 2's like North Star client, where you can play on custom fan-made hosted servers on PC. But I don't know if the fan base is like still cares about XDefiant anymore to be able to do that. Despite its flaws, I kind of wish XDefiant didn't die. It was the best free-to-play Call of Duty alternative that exists currently. I'm a little bummed. Even though I haven't like played the game in like months, I still had like at least 50 hours in the game. I would have probably played more than 50 hours, but there just really wasn't a true reason to, which is a shame, because you can tell by these later updates that they actually put some effort into it. Like, the maps were cool, like, some of the abilities looked interesting, but I digress. That being said, there is another free-to-play first-person shooter that I'm kind of looking forward to. I am cautiously optimistic for Fragpunk. Here are some of my gameplay from the alpha testing. Yes, it is yet another free-to-play hero shooter, and yes, it is heavily inspired by other games. They have a lot of unique gameplay features, and it feels really polished. When I alpha tested it, I was really surprised how much I enjoyed playing it. Movement is good, it's a bit like Call of Duty and Apex, less like CSGO and Valorant in terms of shooting mechanics, but it kinda has like a little something from all those games. Shooting feels good, gameplay is good, animations are nice, the art style is nice, and the cosmetics look great. When I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be yet one of those like quirky free-to-play shooters that people play for 2 weeks and then forget about, but my friends and I liked it, and I guess we'll find out if that ends up being the case or not, but I think it has a chance to like be pretty good, not like flop immediately. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching my video. I'm not the best commentator.
Oh shit.
But my friends would kill me if I use like an AI voiceover, so hopefully this is good enough. Since you watched to the end, consider checking out some of my other content and see if you want to subscribe to me. Anyways, my name is Xenadroid. I will see you in the next video.
Shit.
You're gonna win this revolution single-handedly, eh?
Dude, this is with the marksman rifle. Holy shit.
Time to
Nice.
switch teams. Talk about.
Barbed wire like in Siege. Oh, they have that stupid bullshit.
Awesome. Damage assist. I'll take it. They're going around.
Showed up fashionably.
Yay, barbed wire.
Look up the zone.
Yay, barbed wire.
Not somebody getting electrocuted over here. That's wild.
We'll have to see it. Gonna be me though.
Where are they coming from? Oh, we just won the video game. Okay. Can you pasteurize female cum?
Yes.
Okay, that's enough lives for your cause.
It gives me cursed
What in the
ideas.
goddamn fuck did I just hear?
Pasteurize female cum.
What kind of question did I walk into? I literally just put my headset on and the first thing I hear is, can you pasteurize female cum? What the fuck?
Oh, Ricky, can you? We need to know.
I don't fucking know and I don't want to know.
We're gonna find out for you, Ricky. It's okay.
My god. Fucking Christ.
It's not that bad, Mickey. Yeah.
I'm gonna walk away now.
You hear about us talking about scraping dick cheese and
We were
It's a
not
product.
talking about that either.
Making dick cheese a product? That could be a thing.
I think we've been over this before.
We just have to let it sit out for a while and it'll be proper cheese.
Okay. Might need to add some milk and enzymes, but we could probably figure something out.
yeah, breast milk.
Oh,
Nope.
shit.
That can also be turned into cheese.
It can be.
I'm sure
breast
someone's
cheese.
tried. I'm sure someone's tried. That scares me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, fuck. That was useless.
I was like, oh, this might work.
It's worked before, but
Yeah.
fuck that, I guess.
Where the fuck was the Gulf War at?
In the Gulf.
I knew you were going to say that was the bad thing. I knew.
Oh god, that killed me.